I believe we're live. So let me welcome everybody to the Appropriations
Now, I
Committee
muted myself because this
bill
is
hearing. This is a virtual meeting. So I'm going to ask for your patience as we might encounter some technical difficulty or streaming issues, but we hope we don't. Before today, I just want to reiterate that this meeting is being streamed on the Maryland General Assembly's YouTube channel. So you can, if you miss part of this, you can go back and see it at another time. Committee members and witnesses are muted throughout the briefing until introduced and asked to speak. If you have a question, again, following testimony, please raise your hand and I will call upon you. I will call your name and please give us just a little second because the staff will have to unmute you. So I think we're ready to begin today. And I must say, I am very pleased to say that our first bill hearing, the first of this new year, 2021, we're welcoming back our Speaker Adrian Jones, on a bill that was the #1, I think, bill of hers last year. We were very pleased to work on that bill and to get it passed. And it's going to be a #1 of our priorities again this year to get through. It's a very important bill dealing with our historically Black colleges and universities, the funding, and actually a court situation that's been going on for years that our speaker actually is and did resolve. So with that, I welcome you, Madam Speaker, and I'm glad you're starting off today in appropriations.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's good to be back.
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. House Bill 1 is the reintroduction of House Bill 1260 is back again to resolve the ongoing litigation around Maryland's historical Black colleges and universities. The bill passed this committee overwhelmingly and passed the House with only 2 dissenting votes. I want to take a step to remind the members where we started and why this bill is needed. The case began in 2006 on the heels of an agreement with the Federal Office of Civil Rights to resolve Maryland's history of segregation in higher education. The state won in federal court on the issue of funding. As chair of both the Capital Budget Subcommittee and Education Subcommittee, along with some of you sitting here today, I made sure that the historically Black colleges and universities were appropriately funded to be on par with the traditionally white institution during my tenure. But Judge Catherine Blake found that Maryland had engaged in a pattern of unnecessary program duplication, meaning we did not allow the 4 HBCUs to keep up with cutting-edge academic offerings in order to compete for the best and the brightest students in Maryland and beyond. This is the legacy that this bill intends to resolve. The state lost this count of the lawsuit and therefore must take steps to resolve the program duplication issue based on the court finding. We have litigated this case for far too long. We have left our higher education system in limbo while lawyers argue in court and some students get left behind. Last year, bill passed both chambers with overwhelmingly bipartisan support, but was then vetoed by the governor. I'm reintroducing it this year with a couple of minor changes. House Bill 1 establishes a special fund to require the governor to dedicate $577 million over 10 years to the 4 historically Black colleges and universities. based on some of the economic constraints we are currently facing, the funding does not begin until fiscal year 23. The money is to be spent in 5 major areas of support to eliminate the vestiges of program duplication, establishing new programs and investing in existing under-enrolled and underutilized programs, investing more in scholarships and financial aid programs, recruiting new faculty and training faculty, providing additional academic support to students, marketing new and under-enrolled programs to attract new students. The funding is intended to supplement and not supplant existing USM and HBCU funding. The funding in this bill is divided based on enrollment so that we can capture part-time students who have the same needs as full-time students and have the same right to a high-quality education. It is often harder for these students to graduate, so we should allow them to have access to the same supplementary programs to support them as full-time students. The other change to the bill this year is that it raises the floor from 7 million to 9 million for each HBCU in any given fiscal year to accommodate the short-term potential for enrollment dips. The bill also directs the 4 universities to work with the University of Maryland Global Campus to explore online programming opportunities, as well as hire a consultant to help with planning for expanding programming. Many have asked me why we don't just let the legal process continue. I agree that it's rare for the legislature to step into ongoing litigation. However, we have now been litigating and mediating for years. At the same time, we have lost time for tens of thousands of students waiting for the legal process to resolve itself. We need to act now to level the playing field for all students, regardless of background or race or college they attend, and end this case for the betterment of every student. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Any questions on this very important bill? Thank you very much. Thank you for starting the afternoon with us and starting us off on our first bill hearing of 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, and all the best to you.
Absolutely. We're now going to turn to House Bill 189. Is Delegate Quee with us?
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Sorry, I was first looking for the link and then I had to wait to be let in. So
yeah, you did. Yeah, we keep you out of there as long as we can. All right.
Good.
It's good to see you. It's good to see
you. Happy New Year to everyone.
I do want to say to you that we really did love this bill last year. I remember the hearing on it, and would you please go through your bill again? And this is one of these moments where I just got to say this is hysterical. Actually, while your bill is while you're talking through your bill, I'm going to ask the vice chair to take over because my computer just told me that it's going to shut down and restart. How's that for a problem? It's not me, it's the computer. Go through your bill. This was a great bill.
Thank you.
Enjoyed passing last year. And if I'm not back, all the best.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
You're welcome.
All right, I'll just, I assume it's my turn. I'll just get started, right?
It is.
Okay, great, thank you very much. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the Appropriations Committee. I'm Delegate Lily Chi here to present HB 189, which establishes a mobile laundry pilot program for the homeless in the Department of Housing and Community Development. Thanks to this committee, this bill passed the House last year, but it didn't have time to be voted on in the Senate. Access to clean water, as we all know, is among the most basic of human needs. Clean laundry and a hot shower, for example, is about dignity, about feeling human and feeling connected with the society. We have all seen homeless people using public restrooms. I know a former homeless woman who said she had to wash her clothes in public restrooms and put them on wet. And you heard her testimony last year. At the Montgomery County's men's emergency homeless shelter, one of the first requests from the men entering the shelter was to wash their clothes and belongings. Some said they had to go to job interviews in soiled clothing. In the last 6 months, the shelter has seen 46% increase in homelessness due to the pandemic, which tells us that the real situation out there for the unsheltered is probably much worse. And that's a population that's hard to count and hard to reach. While we may not have an accurate picture of the unsheltered, we do know that they are disproportionately those who feel rejected by the society or even their family members sometimes, and among the most at risk and the vulnerable. According to data by the Interagency Council on Homelessness 2019 annual report, about 1 in 3 homeless Marylanders is unsheltered. I came upon this great practice and idea when vacationing in Athens, Greece in 2019. It was an amazing scene of volunteers working the washer and a dryer while the homeless people were getting helped with other resources and services. I then realized that it is actually a program with growing popularity around the world and in the United States as well, including places like Denver, Colorado, and several cities in California. And then I discovered that in Maryland, there is Hope on Wheels based in Baltimore City that offers mobile laundry, shower, and other services for the homeless around the region. They testified last year and submitted written testimony this year. There is also a new mobile shower trailer in Salisbury called Beyond Your Walls, started by a local couple just a few months ago in response to community needs. But in both cases, these charitable groups are struggling to find the resources because they have to rely exclusively on personal private donations. A pilot program that leverages existing community partners and resources is just what we need, especially now. Through such partnerships, we can better establish a point of connection and a contact for those that are hard to reach to access other existing resources and services. Unlike many programs that can take a long time to implement, these mobile services are relatively simple to implement and can have immediate impact on those in need in terms of personal hygiene and public health, which is all the more important at this point. This bill calls for a 3-year pilot program followed by an assessment by the HCD to be presented to the governor and the General Assembly. Finally, because this bill hearing is sponsor only, I just wish to acknowledge the community partners and supporters who offered written testimonies for today. They are Montgomery County Coalition for the Homeless, Healthcare for the Homeless, Organization of Hope, and the Maryland Catholic Conference. We all know the needs are greater than ever, and I want to point out that the fiscal impact is very modest. So I urge the committee a favorable report. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Delegate Chi, for presenting this bill. Are there any questions from members of the committee for this bill sponsor? Seeing none. Thank you so much, Delegate Chi, for introducing this bill. And that concludes the hearing for House Bill 189. Have a great day.
Thank you very much.
Next, we will hear House Bill 255, Delegate Hill, Department of Aging Grants for Aging in Place Programs Funding.
Good evening or good afternoon, Mr. Vice Chair and committee members. I'm here to present HB 255, which is the Department of Aging Grants for Aging in Place Programs. This bill is an exact duplicate of a bill that was passed out of this committee, off the floor, out of the Senate, and then was vetoed last year. The House vote was 136-0. Senate vote was 45-0. And the bill is a follow-up of legislation that we passed in 2019, creating an Aging in Place grant program in the Department of Aging to assist not-for-profits who are helping people in our community to age in place. I don't want to go through all the benefits of it because I think this committee is pretty much familiar with the realities that as we are a graying state, we have a need to make sure that our residents have the supports that they need. And there are a significant number, if not the majority, who would prefer to live at home and age in place rather than go to a nursing home or assisted living or even a senior living facility. And we also know that those kinds of arrangements are more expensive than aging in place. So our not-for-profits play a critical role in making sure that, that the residents in the community get the supports they need. Just as last year, this is a $100,000 appropriation, which requires a maintenance of effort going forward. And about 20% of the money is set aside to be used by the villages, which are a unique form of resident helping resident to with kind of supports they need living independently at home. So with that, I'd also point out that we have the support in writing in your testimony files, Leading Edge, Maryland Senior Citizens Action Committee, the Baltimore Jewish Council, and I would ask that the committee would again vote favorably for this legislation and appropriation. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, Delegate Hill, I had a little computer glitch here, so I didn't get to see the introduction of your bill completely, but I remember the bill, remember how important it was, and the fact that we passed it last session. So thank you for coming back to the Appropriations Committee.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Thank you all.
Good to see you. Yeah.
All
We're
right.
going to move to House Bill 307. Delegate Rosenberg.
It's just taking a moment for him to join.
Okay. This is what we talk about when we say just be patient.
I'm here. Are you waiting for me?
Good, it is. It's time for you.
Very good. Good timing, hopefully.
Welcome,
Thank you.
Delegate Rosenberg.
Pleasure to be once again in front of the House Appropriations Committee. This is a bill that the committee passed out unanimously last year. It is unchanged from that bill. It deals with the Maryland Technology Internship Program, provides internships for college students in Maryland to give them a foot in the door with that growing sector of our economy. The bill does two things. It would authorize nonprofits to participate in the program, that students could go to a nonprofit for their internship. And number two, it would lower the minimum grade average for the program from 3.0 to 2.5 because the folks at UMBC who are running the program have told us that there are students who could benefit from the program who are worthy of this incentive, but in many instances, because they're taking a tougher course schedule, STEM most notably, their grade averages, GPA is lower. So a 2.5 would benefit them, benefit the program, and most importantly, benefit the state. So same bill as last year. Hope you'll give it the same treatment. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions of the sponsor? Any questions of the sponsor? Seeing none, I thank you very much for being here again to present your bill.
Thank you.
Sorry, we got chased out, so the Senate didn't have time to pass it on the other side.
we're here to rectify that.
We are here to rectify that. Thank you.
Thank you.
That completes the bill hearing on House Bill 307. We are now going to move to House Bill 414. Delegate D. M. Davis. This is the Southern Maryland Rapid Transit Project funding. This is a bill that we heard but did not have time to act on, as I recall. That we actually did not have time because of COVID and the fact that we cut the session short to act on. So we're happy to have the bill back before us. I also might mention that I believe on the call, we have been joined by some members from the Committee on the Environment and Transportation, and they are Delegate Brooke Learman. Welcome back, Jen Terraza, who used to be a member of this committee. I guess so did Delegate Learman, and also Delegate Jerry Clark. So with that, are we ready to begin House Bill 414?
Yes, we are, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Good to see you. And I managed the technology, so I'm really excited.
You did great. You did great. Go ahead.
So I hope I made such an impression on everyone last year that they know exactly what this bill is about. So I'll try to be brief. So thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Deborah Davis. I am a delegate from Charles County, and I've lived in Southern Maryland my entire life. I recognize and sponsors of this bill recognize that you have a job of making funding decisions, particularly as it relates to transportation. Our region, Southern Maryland region, has played by the rules. We have dealt with consolidated transportation program planning process year after year after year, and we have been left in dire straits. Now we have no other choice but to come before you to ask for your support. Charles County and the Southern Maryland region faces the worst commute times in the nation, according to a recent Bloomberg study, as well as the U.S. Census. And it is the fastest growing area in Maryland. 3/4 of our county residents commute outside of the county daily. 25% of the county residents of the county leave by 6 a.m. to get to work in the mornings. We use more MTA commuter buses than any other region in the entire state. And as if this wasn't bad enough, when the nice Middleton Bridge opens in 2023, we expect an additional 20,000 cars daily using US 301, which comes directly through Charles and Prince George's County. We understand that traffic congestion is not a problem that's unique to Southern Maryland, yet our area is the only one in the greater Washington region that's not connected in some form by rail. It's not a new problem. The state has conducted 5 studies over 3 decades, and each of them have confirmed a need for transit connection in this southern region. So what's the solution? We believe the solution is the Southern Maryland Rapid Transit Project. And I'd like to talk a little bit about that. It would connect Branch Avenue in Prince George's County to Waldorf and the White Plains area with a light rail fixed route connection. It helps reduce the reliance on cars, and it encourages economic development in the region. And of course, it improves the quality of life for our residents through sustainable transit. This bill would specifically fund the environmental planning phase, the NEPA planning phase, that would allow this project to secure a record of decision and to finalize the route and the modality and apply for federal funding. And it's a request for $27 million to be paid over a 2-year period. So that's the cost of moving this project forward. The program does not commit the state towards constructing the rail, but it just sets aside the money to move us to the next phase, because right now we have no no hope or nothing in the process for resolving our traffic issues. So the Consolidated Transportation Program requests each county's transportation priorities and meets with local leaders to discuss the priorities. And we've gone through that. We've gone through the Consolidated Transportation process that the state has set up. I'm gonna just conclude at this point that Southern Maryland has too long been ignored in the allocations of the state's transportation trust fund dollars. And if you need any more information, please refer to last year's testimony. This is supported by the entire Prince George's County Commission because Prince George's County delegation, the Charles County delegation, and environmental and labor unions, as well as the business community. Time is right for the state to move forward with this project, and we need your help. Thank you, and respectfully request a favorable report.
Thank you. And it's good to see you again. I haven't seen you.
I know.
Good to see you. Do we have any questions for the sponsor, by the way?
Yes,
Any
Madam Chair.
questions?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Thank you.
Delegate Metzger.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Delegate Davis, I refresh my memory on this a little bit if you can. Was there a feasibility study done for this or anything prior to this today?
A feasibility study from the state?
From the state or from the transit authority?
I really can't answer that. I don't know what you mean by a feasibility study. There have been 5 studies done on whether it was necessary for our region over the
All right.
over 3 decades.
Can you tell me what those studies were?
I would have to rely on one of my transportation people who are here. And if they don't answer your question, Delegate Metzger, I'll circle back and with the entire committee.
That's
Okay, that's
more
fine.
than fine.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Madam Chair,
Yes. Hey, Delegate Clark, how are you?
very well. Good to see you. I hope
Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you very much. I just have a couple quick, one comment. I agree with Deborah on the fact that Southern Maryland has not seen a fair share of transportation funds. We always need more money for roads and particularly bridges down here in the southern part of Calvert and St. Mary's. But my question to Deborah is, Deborah, the 27 million, would that cover the cost for the NEVA study to go all the way from Charles County to Branch Avenue, or would that just be the Charles County part?
And thank you for that question, Delegate Clark. The NEPA study would include the entire rail system, the entire project.
That would do from the start to the finish.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
I have to admire you for your fight to get this. I've been involved in it since 2002 when Gary was on the board and I was
Yes.
chair of the Tri-County Council. And I'm just not sure. Yeah, we've fought to try to get some money here in Southern Maryland. And I understand your traffic woes. So thank you very much for the bill and look forward to hearing it in our committee also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Good. Thank you. Any further questions?
I do have a question, Madam Chair.
Yes.
We passed a bill a couple of years ago that changed the scoring for the CTP, and it basically skewed everything mainly toward mass transit. It made those projects actually score higher, and that was very deliberate. How does this project score? And are you concerned too that we may be setting a precedent moving forward? If we're going to sort of go outside of the process that we set up, that very specifically makes mass transit projects score higher than other projects in the state.
Thank you. Thank you for that question. I hope it sets a precedent that we're going to respond to the needs of the citizens of Maryland. That's the precedent that I hope it establishes. We have been through the CTP process over and over again, and somehow something is broken. If the area that needs it the most is not getting transportation solutions, and if the people who put the most money into the fund are not getting solutions, then something's wrong with the process.
Madam Chair, may I ask a follow-up question?
Yes.
Well, it wasn't that long ago that we deliberately changed the process. And do you think that we've allowed this process to go on long enough just to see if not, because it's only been a couple of years. And honestly, I don't know that that's enough time anywhere, in particular government, to determine whether or not it's a process that's working or it's not working.
I respect your opinion. And what happens is, this isn't new for us. We've been working on this for 30 years. This isn't new to us. So it's not just this process, the recent one, it's the one before that and the one before that. We've been continually growing, and there isn't a process that responds to the needs. Evidently.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? None? Okay. Thank you so much for being here. And again, great to see you. We do have two individuals who signed up to give testimony. Let me call up our good friend Gary Hodge first, who is from the Regional Policy Advisor for, I think is he still with the Tri-County? I don't think so, but Gary, why don't you come on up if you can? Come on up on the screen. We got Gary Hodges in the way.
Am I on?
You are. There you are.
Can you see me, or is it just
I know we can't see you. We just see your name. Good if we can see you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a novice at this, so I'm working on it.
Well, Gary, why don't you go ahead and give us your testimony?
Okay.
We've got you now.
Very good. Okay, well, first of all, I want to answer the three questions that were asked a minute ago. So there's clarity on that, rather than chewing up more time on facts that have already been presented very well by Delegate Davis. Let me hit, first of all, Delegate Metzger's question about feasibility studies. The state of Maryland has performed 5 separate studies. These were all significant studies over the last 25 years, examining every aspect of this project. The last 2 studies made groundbreaking work on the precise definition of the alignment, the 18.7 mile alignment. So we have at this point in front of us essentially what the state has called a pre-NEPA study that was completed in 2017, which gave us granular detail on the alignment and the feasibility issues, and also the economic return on the project. So the answer to Delegate Metzger is yes, a clear and affirmative yes to his question. All of that spade work has been done. On Delegate Clark's question, and as Jerry said, he and I worked closely together on the Tri-County Council, essentially lifting all boats. In other words, he has a very important project there in the Solomon's Bridge. And this project is essentially a transformative project for Southern Maryland. The studies that have been done and the alignment work is for the entire 18.7 mile alignment, and the NEPA process ahead of us would be for the entire alignment from Branch Avenue to White Plains. Then the other delegate asked questions about the scoring process, and I want to clarify that briefly. The legislature had passed very strong legislation establishing a scoring process that would give transit projects a proper role in the state consolidated transportation program, equal in importance to highway investments. The governor vetoed that bill. And so when Secretary Ron was secretary, he put in place a scoring process that favored highways. So I just wanted to clarify the delegate's question, because essentially what we're operating under now is former Secretary Ron's scoring process that ranks highways higher than transit projects. And that is the scoring process in place today. And so if you look at that list of 30 or 40 state transportation priorities, you will see that the top tier of projects are all highway projects, and the bottom tier of projects are all transit projects. So we need to do a lot of work ahead of us to correct that imbalance, and recognize the fact that in Southern Maryland, for instance, we have 28,000 people ready to board light rail trains for Washington, who have been thwarted in that effort to move this study forward by the ranking system that's been in place for the last 3 years.
Gary, I hate to interrupt you. We do have a 2-minute time frame. I let you go a little longer because you were answering questions previously asked.
I totally understand.
If you can summarize, I'd be grateful.
Well, I just want to say that the next step here in our progress is to complete the NEPA process. And as Delegate Davis said, we need 27 million over the next 2 years to get that out of the way and get that finished. And then we can compete for capital money to build this system. And we need your help to do that as a committee. You're vitally important in that process. And we'd like to leave Annapolis this year with the first installment of that funding, so we can get this 2-3 year process underway, get it completed, and then perhaps work with the new Biden administration to build this thing. So thank you for your help and for your consideration.
Thank you. Delegate Corman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Hodge, you're as close as we have to a Southern Maryland transportation expert. Can you remind me, is there a major bridge project going on in Southern Maryland right now? Gary?
For several years, as Delegate Clark referred to, the Thomas Johnson Bridge across the Patuxent River is a standing priority of the region, but you may be referring to the Harry Nice Bridge, which would connect Charles County with King George County, Virginia. Construction.
My recollection, Gary, if I might, is actually we call it the Nice Middleton Bridge now, after our friend Senator Middleton.
Yes, right.
My recollection is that the MDOT, the Department of Transportation under Governor Hogan, canceled that project. They didn't like that project and they decided they'd rather cut tolls. And then that changed after the legislature passed a bill from former colleague Delegate Jameson and Senator Middleton mandating that project go forward. And then even though that bill was vetoed, the department changed their tune. Does that sound like an event that took place the last few years?
That sounds correct to me.
So it's not unusual. It's not unprecedented for us to mandate specific projects, whether they be roads, bridges, or transit. Does that seem familiar?
Absolutely right. If we have the executive support on that and the encouragement from the legislature, all kinds of things are possible.
Yeah, I don't think that bridge project was scored either. But Gary, thanks for being here, and thanks to Delegate Davis for bringing back the bill.
Thank you, Delegate Corman. We appreciate your support.
Yeah, Delegate Corman chairs the subcommittee this bill's going to, so that was nice to hear from him, wasn't it?
Yes, very nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, any further questions, Mr. Hodges? Any further questions? All right. Thank you very much. Gary, it's always good to see you. All right. Well, he's on mute. All right. We're now going to call up Reuben Collins. Can we unmute Reuben Collins? And Reuben is from Charles County.
Hello, how are you?
Very good. Good to have you, sir.
Thank you for this opportunity. Again, my name is Reuben Collins. I'm president of Charles County's Board of County Commissioners. I know I have limited time, so I really wanted to try to highlight a few things. First off, the 2017 SMRT Alternatives report overwhelmingly demonstrated support for the need of this transit project for our Southern Maryland region. According to the report, as of 2015, the commute shed area encompassing this corridor contains more than 439,000 people. The report predicted in its operational year of 2040, the SMRT will have approximately 24,000 to 28,000 daily riders. To put this in perspective, a light rail train will hold 150 passengers. To keep pace with the estimated demand during peak hours, it will require trains servicing the stations every 6 minutes. So there's no question that there is a significant demand for this transit service. We always hear about roads and how that could solve some of our problems. Charles County is limited to 2 major arterial roadways to connect us to the Washington metropolitan area, and those highways have limited capacity. You may also be aware that the governor's Harry Nice Thomas Mack Middleton Bridge replacement project is now under construction. Once the bridge opens in 2022 with an additional lane in each direction, the number of vehicle trips crossing the bridge is projected to double. This corridor needs to be prepared to move people and freight in an efficient and expedited manner. Without this high capacity transit service, gridlock will ensure under the increased traffic in the US 301 corridor. And I know I'm running out of time, but I wanted to really emphasize the economic benefits to Charles County, which is not really highlighted. It's projected to significantly encourage economic growth, vastly increasing job growth and adding an estimated $20 billion to income, 30 billion to property development and values. The increased employment and property values resulting from rapid transit are projected to expand the tax base by 5 billion to 6 billion, which in itself would cover the cost of the project. And so I have much more that I'd like to say. I know, we're running out of time. I mean, certainly as a former colleague, Gary Hodge was instrumental during his time as a commissioner representing Charles County. That was my first term where the county not only tied the idea of rapid transit, but we also significantly adjusted our actual land use to accommodate transit-oriented development. And so these are the commitments that we made on the local level for this project. And in addition, final comment, maintaining a strong partnership with Prince George's County.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Any questions? Any questions? Okay. I want to thank you both for coming to testify on this bill. I have to rib Delegate Davis a little bit. You lost one of your biggest proponents of this bill. We lost him to the Senate last week. But we just have to figure out that he's over there waiting for the bill to come over, right? Is that right?
I agree.
But aren't we proud of him?
Yes, we are.
So we'll miss him. We got a great vice chair in the committee, but do I see a hand up? That's Novotny. Wait a minute. He's going to ask his first question now. I don't know what we do on Zoom. You have no idea what happens to you in this committee when you ask your first question, but go ahead, sir.
Okay, I'm ready. Thank you. Thank you, Madam. So the study costs about $27 million. Is there an estimate on what the total cost of the project would be throughout the development?
Is Mr. Hodge still? Unmute.
Gary, take yourself off mute.
Okay.
There you go.
Sure. The estimate is about $1.5 billion. And if you look at the national figures for light rail lines, and we have some great examples in Charlotte, for instance, in Phoenix, a lot of voter enthusiasm about projects, by the way. A $1.5 billion project for a 19-mile line is extremely good number. Very modest cost there. Typically, that could be 3 billion instead of 1.5 billion. But in the NEPA process, and this is one of the reasons why that's essential, all of these final details will be shaken out in that NEPA process, which we absolutely must get underway so that we're ready in 2 years to start building this.
Very good.
Thank you,
Delegate,
Madam Chair.
you're welcome. Delegate Beitzel. Yeah, there you go.
I got unmuted. Okay, just simple question. Maybe Gary can answer it. Gary Hodges, is this come into the vicinity where the purple line will tie in? Is there an interconnection between this and the purple line?
There isn't.
There isn't?
No, there is not a direct connection to the purple line, which runs from Bethesda to New Carrollton.
Right.
So we're a bit west of the purple line, and this will go to Branch Avenue. So from Branch Avenue, you have connectivity to the whole metro system, and then to MARC as well, and to Amtrak. So it's a very important question you've asked, because what we need to be thinking about over the horizon is a seamless, interconnected rail network for Maryland. And so the purple line is a key component of that. The Southern Maryland Rapid Transit line will be a key component. Service to Western Maryland and the communities there is vitally important through MARC. And so you see the picture I'm painting here is something where we have fast, safe, and accessible transit for the people of Maryland through a seamless, interconnected network.
All right, thank you for your answer.
Thank you. I see no other questions, so I want to thank everyone for coming today. Thank you again, Delegate Davis, for presenting this bill. And that concludes the bill hearing today on House Bill 414. Committee, before we adjourn, I want to remind you that we have bill hearings again tomorrow. Same time, 1:30. And I'm assuming actually that everybody got your link. Should be emailed out at midnight from OIS, so you should have it first thing in the morning. If anyone had any problems, since this is our first bill hearing, I would love it if you would text me or call me, so we can help make sure all of us know where to go, when to go, and how to get on. But we have very good attendance here today, so I'm assuming everything went smoothly. Tomorrow, 1:30, we will be back with a number of bill hearings. And by the way, the vice chair will be chairing tomorrow bill hearings. So I look forward to still seeing everybody. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great